If you enjoy our videos, subscribe, like, and comment to support us. Thanks for tuning in.
My name is Dr. John Watson. I share a flat at 221B Baker Street with a young man named Sherlock Holmes. This would normally be a simple statement of simple fact, but I had learned in the first few weeks of our association that the normal process of returning home was in itself an adventure. I never knew what to expect. I seldom expected what I found. I had decided to spend a quiet evening at home, and I was determined not to become involved in any new scheme that Holmes would invent.
Sulfate gas. Oh? Do you remember the Dietrich case, when the defense tried to prove that no one could produce the deadly poison without a trained chemist?
No.
Well, I'm going to try it now. With kitchen utensils and a secondary school chemistry book. I knew it could be done. There it is, Watson. Brilliant.
Now you've done too far.
That woman was guilty as a vulture. Clever, too.
Holmes, I wish you wouldn't forget that we've got to live in these rooms.
Can't imagine why the prosecution didn't think of this.
The gentleman arrived here in a hansom. Appears to be coming up here.
What else did you notice about our visitor?
Oh, I don't know. I'd say about 30-ish, conservatively dressed. A man of modest means. What do you think, Holmes?
I don't know. I didn't see him. You did.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. Oh, excuse me. Morning, do come in, will you?
Good morning. Is this Sherlock Holmes' flat?
Yes, indeed. Oh, sulfate gas.
Oh.
Mr. Holmes has been experimenting. That's Mr. Holmes.
How do you do, Mr. Holmes? How do you do? I must apologize for calling upon you without an appointment, Mr. Holmes, but it is urgent. May I present my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson? How do you do?
How do you do?
Now then, Mr. Winthrop. Mr. Harvey Winthrop, isn't it? Have we met before, sir? No, but you mustn't underestimate your reputation. Won't you come in? And sit down. Thank you. Over there. I had heard your powers of observation were remarkable, Mr. Holmes. Perhaps you also know the purpose of my visit. I can only say it's a personal matter. How do you know? It is always a personal matter when one consults me rather than the police. Of course. Well, my reason to see you actually concerns my elder brother, John. It is he who controls the family wealth. In the event of his death, I would be sole heir. Does his death seem imminent? Well, his life has been threatened. In what way? I noticed you didn't ask by whom. You took pains to point out that only you would benefit by your brother's death. If you knew who made the threat, you wouldn't be so concerned with your own innocence. You're right. I do not know who's making these threats. Actually, I don't even know if it is a who.
I beg your pardon, sir?
Well, it is possibly a what, Dr. Watson. In this case, the heritage of every old family. The family legend. What is the Winthrop legend? Every member of the family destined for a violent death finds about his person silver coins.
Silver coins? Oh, you mean like those silver coins the pirates use, called pieces of 8?
Exactly, Dr. Watson. Pieces of 8 as a warning, and at the time of death, a gold doubloon.
Have these coins any special significance?
30 years ago, my father was killed by a fall down the stairs in the main hall of Winthrop Manor. A gold doubloon was found under his body.
Was he actually seen to fall downstairs?
No, the manor was closed and has remained so ever since.
I assume your brother has discovered several silver coins.
Each day for the past 7 days.
I see. What has been his reaction?
He has decided for the first time in 30 years to reopen Winthrop Manor.
In defiance of the legend.
Exactly. We are going to be there this weekend.
Who is we?
My brother, my fiancée, and myself. And I would like you two, Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson, to be there as well.
Well, that's very good of you, sir.
Do you have any other evidence to substantiate your belief?
I was very young in those days, but I can still remember the sight of my father's body at the bottom of those stairs.
Dr. Watson and I will arrive at Winthrop Manor this Friday night.
Oh, thank you very much. If there is anything I can do until then, or if there's any question you want to ask me before, please don't hesitate to call upon me at any time.
We'll do that.
Thank you. Again, thank you, gentlemen.
Not at all. Good day, you, sir. Good day. Well, Holmes, what do you think?
I think it's amazing the extent to which people will go to obscure the simple facts of murder or threatened murder.
You don't believe in the legend?
Nonsense.
Well, but after all, Holmes, you said yourself that these things very often have a basis of fact.
The odor lingers. There was no mention of that in the Dietrich's case.
I'm a man of science myself, Holmes, you know that. And yet there are things that happen every day for which they have no logical explanation.
How would Mrs. Dietrich's have removed the odor?
Of course, it could work equally well both ways. Winthrop himself admitted that in the event of his brother's death, he was the heir to the estate. His visit here might have been a blind.
The solution of a murder, Watson, is infinitely easier than the prevention. We have committed ourselves to a weekend in a drafty manor house that has been closed for 30 years. We will watch and we will wait. And in time, we will apprehend the persons or ghosts, who will commit the murder of the Winthrop Legend. Thank you.
The thunder was making so much noise, I wasn't certain I heard you knock.
Yes, I think we got here just in time.
Yes, we were worried that you were caught in the storm. I'm Mrs. John Winthrop.
How do you do? I'm Dr. Watson. This is Sherlock Holmes.
How do you do?
I'm very pleased to meet you. You can leave your things here and go into the sitting room. We've managed to get it comfortably warm. I'll have your luggage brought up to your rooms. You'll have to excuse the inconveniences of the house. My husband's decision to spend the weekend here was rather sudden. And I'm afraid we're understaffed.
Please don't concern yourself with us, Mrs. Winthrop. I'm sure we'll be very comfortable.
Oh, there you are. I'm glad you made it before the storm. I see you've already met my sister-in-law.
Yes, we have.
How do you do?
Oh, Harvey, perhaps you can show Dr. Watson and Mr. Holmes to their rooms.
Yes, you probably want to freshen up.
Good evening, gentlemen.
This is my brother, John Winthrop. Dr. Watson.
How do you do?
How do you do? How do you do?
How do you do, sir?
I hope you'll be comfortable. Or as comfortable as possible in a house that's been closed for 30 years. I feel I should apologize.
Not at all, sir. I'm sure everything will be fine.
I hope so. Come down to the sitting room when you're ready. It's a bit more cheerful there.
Let me show you to your rooms, gentlemen.
Come along, my dear. You didn't mention your brother was married.
Didn't I? I thought I had.
Then surely she would be the heir to the estate if anything should happen to your brother.
No, the estate upon his death goes to the next male member of the family.
Oh, I see.
How did Mrs. Winthrop lose her sight?
It was a riding accident, shortly after they were married. My sister-in-law is a remarkable woman, Mr. Holmes. She took to her new way of living with cheerfulness and thoroughness.
Yes, it's always encouraging to hear of such cases. And it reflects great credit on those surrounding the patient.
Oh, Peg, I want you to meet...
Dr. Watson. And you must be Sherlock Holmes. Harvey has told me so much about you.
Gentlemen, my fiancée, Miss Margaret Hall.
How do you do?
How do you do, Miss Hall?
John and Alice are in the drawing room, darling. We'll be down shortly.
All right, darling. I think we're going to have a wonderful weekend, in spite of this old house. Don't keep yourselves from us too long, gentlemen.
You're a very lucky man, Mr. Winthrop. She's a lovely girl.
As a matter of fact, you know, there's some very good hunting country around here. Do you go in for that sort of thing, Mr. Holmes?
On occasion, sir. Not very often, thank you.
My wife thinks I'm a bit reckless. She worries about my neck. A glass, my dear.
Thank you.
That appears to be a preoccupation with more than one member of your family, sir. You mean my brother, too? And the reason for your being here? Nonsense. I said the same thing. And you agree with me? You, too, think it's a lot of rubbish? I don't think we're referring to the same thing, sir. I'm talking about the legend, of course. Ah, I see.
May I ask, sir, what precautions you've taken against it?
What would one do? How does one fight a myth? Well, what's your opinion, Mr. Holmes? Should I take this matter seriously? You are obviously taking it seriously by defying it. By coming down here to prove that it doesn't exist. Jove, I hadn't thought of it like that. You're dead right, of course. But let me put it like this. Do you really believe the legend is dangerous? You are obviously overlooking the second conclusion, sir. If the legend is real and beyond our understanding, then your life may be being threatened by the supernatural. If we rule that out, then the threat has a very realistic source. In either case, the threat remains. I hadn't thought of it that way.
But there are just the 6 of us here, Mr. Holmes. Surely if there is danger for John, it couldn't come from any of us.
There are just the 6 of us now, Miss Hall. But now there are 7.
John, what is it?
Nothing, my dear, nothing at all. I think we'd better go into dinner.
Excellent idea.
I don't like it, Holmes.
Neither do I, Watson. Neither do I. Oh, come in, Watson. Oh, don't be alarmed, old chap. I don't think this contraption has been fired for centuries.
You could hardly expect me to know that from here, Holmes.
Seems it's working after all.
I wanted to talk to you about that dinner we just had.
Oh, yes, yes. Excellent, Doc. Don't you agree?
Well, it was better than the conversation, or lack of conversation, I grant you.
Well, quite natural under the circumstances. Everyone's suspecting things they'd rather not say.
What do you make of it, Holmes?
Did you realize that young Harvey Winthrop was in love with Alice before she married his brother?
Holmes, you're fantastic. How did you determine that?
He told me. Oh. Oh, have you got a match, Watson?
Yes, I think I should have. Holmes, look.
Yes, I know. I slipped it in your pocket during dinner.
You what?
I just wanted to see how easy it was to plant those things on someone else.
Well, really, Holmes, for all you know, I might...
He's dead. Neck broken.
A gold doubloon.
What happened? Oh, someone tell me. What's happened?
And now, we return to the case of the Winthrop Legend. Had quite a time getting back here. The roads are turning bad.
Harvey Winthrop.
Good evening, sir. Could you get everybody together and see if we can try and get this thing sorted out? Where's the body?
Over there.
Broken neck. Died instantly.
Oh, you say, you up there?
Oh, good evening, Constable.
That is Mr. Holmes. I've spoken to you about him.
Oh, yes. Good evening to you, Mr. Holmes. Glad to have you on this case.
His wife.
Been a terrible shock for her.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, I'd like to discuss this case with you. I've got several theories. Dr. Watson was telling me coming down in the carriage.
I think it would be better if she retired for a while. These will help.
Thank you, Doctor.
Dr. Watson summarized the legend for me on the way down, but quite frankly, Mr. Holmes, I would say we're opposed to a devilish mind here.
Holmes, really? I don't know. What on earth do you think you're doing?
A button. At the very least, the very least. Observe, Watson, I've almost torn a button loose.
Oh, so I should think after all those acrobatics. Are you going to sit like that all evening?
And yet the late Mr. John Winthrop fell down a long flight of exceptionally sharp stone stairs without damaging his clothing.
What's that? I'd better check.
Yes, I think you had.
He may not have torn a button, but he suffered some very severe damage to his neck, I'd like to remind you.
An indisputable fact, my dear Watson.
Well, what are you getting at, Holmes?
That's right. Now we're getting somewhere. Come on, Watson, let's examine the situation more thoroughly. The killing blow was struck at the back of the neck, is that right?
It was. He must have struck the edge of the stairs as he fell.
Stone, edges quite sharp. Wouldn't the wound be deeper, more pronounced, Watson? Would you re-examine the injuries like a good fellow?
Mm-hmm. Well, the skin's broken, but not unusually so. Still, it's difficult to know the position of the body when he fell.
I agree with Mr. Holmes.
Winthrop and the blind woman were at the top of the stairs when he fell.
Mm-hmm. And in a position to have pushed him down.
Right.
You then imply that Miss Hall, being downstairs all the time, may be ruled out as a suspect.
Well, I should take that as a prima facie proof of her innocence.
Do you really think so, Watson?
What's that?
Who are you accusing, Mr. Holmes?
Your fiancée.
Holmes?
You're insane. Not at all, I assure you. Your brother didn't fall down these stairs. He was killed, struck by a blow from behind, very probably in this room. His body was then placed at the foot of the stairs, and the legend having been carefully reawakened, and the manner in which your father met his death, and the gold doubloon, all led you to the obvious conclusion.
She couldn't have done it.
I assure you she could.
But Holmes, she had no motive. The estate now passes to Harvey Winthrop.
Well, yes, I'm the only one who had a motive.
I would say you and the lady you are going to marry.
Are you going to report her to the police?
Less than useless, I'm afraid. No court in this world would ever convict her on the evidence we have.
Well, assuming you're right, and mind you, to me, it's only an assumption. There's nothing we can do.
Yes, there is. We can at least remove the assumption. Come with me, gentlemen, into the drawing room.
Constable, I didn't know you were there.
Just looking around, routine, you know, miss.
Of course. Did you want to see me?
Not especially, miss. A few more things to check up on.
The rest lies completely in your hands.
Alice is resting now. Not sleeping, but... Oh, this whole thing is horrible.
If you'll forgive us, Dr. Watson has a medical certificate to fill out.
Yes, I should attend to that.
Oh, Mr. Holmes.
At your service, my good constable.
That Holmes. What a peculiar man.
What? Oh, Holmes, yes, he is, isn't he? Peg,
Yes?
Well, this is difficult to say.
What is, darling?
In light of what's happened, I think it's best we break off our engagement.
Break off? But why?
Well, there's certain to be a mess in the papers about all this.
Oh, you needn't worry about me, darling.
Well, actually, it's Alice I'm thinking of.
Alice?
Yes, she'll be so terribly alone now. In a way, I feel responsible for her.
You love her. You've always loved her. And now that your brother's dead, you...
You mustn't think that. There's something else.
What else? Why this sudden protective fatherly interest?
10 years ago, Alice and I went riding across the moors. I started a race. Her horse broke away from her and she couldn't stop him. He took a high fence and fell.
And Alice became blind. But you can't live with that for the rest of your life. It was an accident. It was unfortunate, but it shouldn't influence our relationship now.
I'm afraid it does. To me.
John dies and you take Alice. That's funny. That's really ironic.
Ironic? What makes you see ironic in such a situation?
I don't know. I just meant nothing. Just an expression.
Very interesting choice of words, I might add. Alas, I must confess we were eavesdropping. Is there anything you'd like to confess, Miss Hall?
What does this mean?
You spoke of irony. Such a choice word. You didn't kill John Winthrop so that Harvey could share the family fortune with Alice. You'd have seen to that in time.
You're insane. I couldn't have pushed John down the stairs. I was at the bottom myself.
Well, you were in a perfect position to strike him with this. And then, very thoughtfully, placed the end in the fire to remove any evidence of the blow.
No court in the world would convict me on evidence like that.
You're quite right, Miss Hall. But you know the facts. And we know the facts.
But surely, Holmes, something can be done.
I don't think so, Watson. The young lady used her wits at an ancient legend. And a murderess walks free.
It's a gold doubloon.
And she said no court in the world would ever convict her.
Chapter 1. The Midnight Visitor. Hello, and welcome to Mystery and Chill, where every story feels like a conversation over a warm cup of coffee. Pour yourself a drink, settle into your favorite chair, and join me, Dr. John Watson, as I recount one of the most perplexing cases that ever challenged the brilliant mind of my dear friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Tonight's tale concerns death, deception, and a family curse that proved far deadlier than mere superstition. It was a bitterly cold November evening in the year 1895 when our story begins. I had retired early to my room at 221B Baker Street, exhausted from a long day at my medical practice. Holmes, as was his custom during periods between cases, had fallen into one of his restless moods, pacing the sitting room, playing discordant notes on his violin, and filling the air with pipe smoke thick enough to obscure the Persian slipper that hung from the mantelpiece. I had just begun to drift into sleep when I heard the sharp rap of the door knocker below, followed by Mrs. Hudson's distinctive footsteps on the stairs. A moment later came Holmes's voice, cutting through my drowsiness with the clarity of a church bell. "Watson, we have a visitor, a most intriguing visitor, if I'm not mistaken." Pulling on my dressing gown, I descended to find a woman standing in our sitting room, trembling despite the warmth of the fire. She was perhaps 30 years of age, dressed in a traveling cloak of fine material but spattered with mud. Her face, though beautiful, was drawn with terror, and her gloved hands clutched a leather case as if it contained her very life. "Mr. Holmes," she began, her voice barely above a whisper, "I apologize for the unseemly hour, but I truly fear, that if I wait until morning, I may not live to see the dawn." Holmes gestured to the chair nearest the fire. "Please, sit down, Miss." "Mrs. Catherine Winthrop," she supplied, sinking into the chair, "though I fear I may soon be a widow, to join my title as an orphan." I poured her a brandy while Holmes settled into his chair, fingers steepled beneath his chin, a posture I had come to recognize as the prelude to his most intense concentration. "You've traveled from Hampshire this very evening," Holmes observed. "The mud on your boots is the distinctive red clay found only in that county. You departed in haste, without your maid. The clasp of your cloak is fastened incorrectly, something no lady's maid would permit, and you are recently married, within the year, I should say. Yet your husband did not accompany you. This suggests either estrangement or incapacity. Given your evident distress, I suspect the latter. Now pray tell us your story, and omit nothing, however trivial it may seem." Mrs. Winthrop's eyes widened. "How could you possibly—" She shook her head. "I forget your reputation, Mr. Holmes. Yes, Everything you say is true. I am recently married to Sir Edmund Winthrop, Baronet of Winthrop Manor in Hampshire, and he lies now in mortal danger, not from illness, Dr. Watson, but from something far sinister." She opened her leather case and withdrew a bundle of yellowed papers and what appeared to be a family Bible, its pages marked with numerous ribbons. "My husband's family has been cursed, Mr. Holmes. For 3 generations, the eldest son has died under mysterious circumstances on or before his 35th birthday. My husband turns 35 in 3 days' time, and tonight, he fell violently ill after dinner. The doctors can find no cause, no poison, nothing. But I know in my heart that the Winthrop curse has claimed another victim." Holmes leaned forward, his eyes glittering with interest. "Tell me about these previous deaths." Mrs. Winthrop's hands trembled as she turned the pages of the Bible. "Edmund's grandfather, Sir William Winthrop, died in 1858 at the age of 34. He was found in the library of Winthrop Manor, apparently having suffered a heart seizure, though he had been in perfect health. His son, Edmund's father, Sir Robert, died in 1878, also at 34. He was discovered in the same library, in the same chair, dead with no mark upon him, and no medical explanation. And now Edmund. The curse supposedly began with Sir William's father, Sir Charles Winthrop, back in 1835. He was a cruel man, Mr. Holmes, notorious throughout Hampshire for his treatment of tenants and servants. One of his stable hands, a young man named Thomas Blackwood, was accused of stealing. Sir Charles had him publicly whipped and then transported to Australia on a prison ship. Before the ship sailed, Thomas's mother, old Martha Blackwood, a woman locally reputed to have the second sight, came to Winthrop Manor. She stood at the gates and pronounced a curse that every eldest son of the Winthrop line would die before reaching his 35th year, and that their deaths would mirror Sir Charles's own crimes, slow, painful, and without mercy. Sir Charles himself died 6 months later, at age 34, in agony from what the doctors called internal complications. Holmes rose and began pacing, his fingers drumming against his leg. Superstition and coincidence make poor foundations for murder, yet murder, I suspect, is what we're dealing with. Watson, pack your bag. We leave for Hampshire on the first train. Chapter 2. Shadows of Winthrop Manor. The morning train carried us through a landscape of bare trees and fog-shrouded fields. Mrs. Winthrop sat across from us, her face drawn with exhaustion and worry. Holmes spent most of the journey in silent contemplation, occasionally consulting the family documents she had brought. "Mrs. Winthrop," I ventured as the spires of a country church appeared through the mist. "Tell us about the household at Winthrop Manor. Who resides there currently?" She gathered her thoughts. "Besides Edmund and myself, there is his younger brother, Lieutenant James Winthrop, who has been staying with us since returning from India. Edmund's maiden aunt, Miss Agatha Winthrop, who has lived at the manor all her life. Our housekeeper, Mrs. Pemberton, who has served the family for 30 years. And Dr. Cornelius Ashford, Edmund's childhood friend and our local physician, who has been attending him constantly since the illness began." "No children?" Holmes asked without looking up from his reading. A shadow crossed her face. "Not yet. We've been married only 8 months." "And the estate? What becomes of it should your husband die without an heir?" "It would pass to his brother James, according to the entailment." She met Holmes' eyes directly. "If you're suggesting that James might wish his brother dead, Mr. Holmes, I assure you that the two are deeply devoted to one another. James is more distressed by this situation than anyone." "Everyone is a suspect until they are not, Mrs. Winthrop," he replied gently. "It is nothing personal, merely methodology.
Winthrop Manor rose before us like a brooding sentinel, a Jacobean pile of dark stone and mullioned windows, ivy creeping across its facade like grasping fingers. The overcast sky lent the scene an oppressive quality, and I confess I felt a chill that had nothing to do with the November air. A servant met us at the entrance, a thin man with nervous eyes, who introduced himself as Graves, the butler. "Mrs. Winthrop, thank heavens you've returned. Sir Edmund is asking for you. His condition has worsened." We were shown into an entrance hall dominated by portraits of stern-faced Winthrop ancestors, their eyes seeming to follow our progress. The house had that peculiar smell of old money and older secrets, beeswax polish, dust, and something else I couldn't quite identify. "Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson, this way, please," came a cultured voice. A man in his late 20s descended the grand staircase, tall, with military bearing, and a strong resemblance to the portraits around us. "I'm Lieutenant James Winthrop. My brother is upstairs. Dr. Ashford is with him now." We followed him up the sweeping staircase and down a corridor lined with more family portraits. James Winthrop walked with the slight limp of an old wound, and I noticed his right hand bore the scar of a saber cut. "Afghanistan?" I asked, recognizing the marks of service. He glanced back with a tight smile. "Burma, actually. 3 years of chasing dacoits through the jungle before a sepoy's blade sent me home last year." We entered a spacious bedroom where a man lay in a great 4-poster bed, his face the color of old parchment. Standing beside him was another man, presumably Dr. Ashford, taking the patient's pulse with a grave expression. Sir Edmund Winthrop opened his eyes as we entered. Despite his illness, I could see he had been a vital man, perhaps 40 years old in appearance, though I knew him to be not yet 35. His eyes, fever-bright, fixed on Holmes. "You're the detective," he managed, his voice hoarse and whisper. "Catherine said she would fetch you. It's real, Mr. Holmes. The curse is real." Holmes approached the bedside, his keen eyes scanning the patient's face, hands, and the medicine bottles on the nightstand. "Tell me your symptoms, Sir Edmund. Spare no detail." "It began yesterday evening, after dinner. Sudden nausea, violent cramping in the stomach. Then fever, chills, weakness. Dr. Ashford has tried everything, but I only grow worse. I can feel it, Mr. Holmes, the life draining from me, just as it drained from my father and his father before him." Dr. Ashford stepped forward, a portly man with kind eyes and graying whiskers. "I've been the Winthrop family physician for 15 years, gentlemen. I attended Sir Robert in his final illness, and I've studied the records of Sir William's death. The symptoms are identical. It's as if some invisible force is simply stopping their hearts. And the onset is always sudden, after a meal. Yes, now that you mention it, both previous victims fell ill after the evening meal. But I assure you, Mr. Holmes, I've tested everything Edmund consumed. There is no poison. I've looked for arsenic, strychnine, cyanide, every toxin in the pharmacopoeia. Nothing."
Chapter 3. The Curse Strikes Again. Holmes picked up one of the medicine bottles, uncorked it, and sniffed carefully. "What are you treating him with, Doctor?" "Bismuth for the stomach upset, laudanum for the pain, and a digitalis tincture to strengthen his heart, standard treatments for such symptoms. And has anyone else fallen ill? Anyone who shared the meal?" Mrs. Winthrop shook her head firmly. "We all ate the same dishes. I'm perfectly well, as is James, Aunt Agatha, and the servants." Holmes turned back to the patient. "Sir Edmund, I need you to think carefully. In the days before your illness, did anything unusual occur? Any strangers visit? Any arguments or disturbances?"
Edmund's fevered eyes struggled to focus. Nothing unusual. The same quiet routine. My birthday celebration was planned for 3 days hence, November 15th. I would have been 35. His laugh was bitter. The curse grants no reprieve. We shall see about that, Holmes replied. Watson, attend to the patient. I wish to examine the house, particularly the library where the previous deaths occurred. As Holmes departed with Lieutenant Winthrop, I set about a thorough medical examination of Sir Edmund. My findings were troubling. His pulse was weak and irregular, his temperature elevated but not dangerously so, and his abdomen was tender to palpation. Yet, as Dr. Ashford had said, there was nothing to indicate a specific diagnosis. The symptoms seemed almost designed to baffle medical science. "Dr. Watson," Edmund whispered, grasping my hand with surprising strength, "if I don't survive, tell Catherine. Tell her I'm sorry. Sorry I brought her into this cursed family." "You'll tell her yourself, sir," I said, with more confidence than I felt. Holmes has never failed to solve a case. I left Dr. Ashford monitoring the patient and went in search of Holmes. I found him in the library, a magnificent room lined with ancient books and dominated by a massive oak desk. Holmes was on his hands and knees, examining the Persian carpet with his magnifying glass. "Anything of interest?" I inquired. "Everything is of interest, Watson. This room tells a story if one knows how to read it." He stood, brushing dust from his trousers. "Notice the chair behind the desk. It faces the window which overlooks the gardens. Both previous victims were found seated in that very chair. The desk drawer contains personal correspondence, nothing suspicious. But observe the bookshelf behind you." I turned to see a collection of medical texts and scientific journals. The previous baronets were students of medicine? Indeed. Both Sir William and Sir Robert kept detailed journals of their symptoms in the days before their deaths. Most illuminating. He pulled 2 leather-bound volumes from the shelf. They experienced identical progressions. First, digestive distress after the evening meal, then progressive weakness, fever, and finally cardiac arrest. Death occurred within 72 hours of the first symptoms in both cases. A sudden commotion from upstairs interrupted our investigation. Mrs. Winthrop's scream echoed through the manor, followed by Dr. Ashford's urgent shouts for assistance. We raced up the stairs to find the bedroom in chaos. Sir Edmund was convulsing violently, his body arching off the bed. Dr. Ashford struggled to hold him down while administering some medication. "Seizures," the doctor panted. "This didn't happen with the others, not this early. He's deteriorating faster than his father or grandfather did." Holmes stood perfectly still, his eyes taking in every detail of the scene. The overturned water glass on the nightstand, the spilled medicine bottle, the peculiar smell that now permeated the room. After several agonizing minutes, the seizure subsided. Sir Edmund lay unconscious, his breathing shallow and labored. Mrs. Winthrop wept at his bedside, while Lieutenant James stood rigid by the window, his fists clenched in helpless rage. "Mr. Holmes," James said quietly, his voice thick with emotion, "can you save my brother, or are we truly cursed?" Holmes' expression was grave. "Curses are the invention of the guilty to frighten the innocent, Lieutenant. Someone in this house is a murderer, and I intend to prove it before another sunset." Chapter 4. Unraveling the Web. Holmes insisted on interviewing every member of the household separately. We began with Miss Agatha Winthrop, the maiden aunt who had lived at the manor for her entire 60 years. She received us in the drawing room, a tall, angular woman with sharp eyes and a sharper tongue. "I suppose you want to hear about the curse," she said before Holmes could speak. "Everyone does. Well, I'll tell you plainly, Mr. Holmes. I watched my brother Robert die in that library just as he watched his father William die before him. There was nothing natural about either death. The Blackwood curse is real, and it will claim Edmund just as it claimed them." You were present when your brother died? Holmes asked. I found him. He had been perfectly well at dinner, laughing and telling stories. An hour later, I went to the library to fetch a book and found him slumped in that chair, already cold. Her voice wavered slightly. The doctor said his heart simply stopped. A man of 34, healthy and strong, and his heart just stopped. And you believe this Martha Blackwood had supernatural powers? I believe she had the power of hatred, Mr. Holmes, and hatred can accomplish terrible things. My grandfather Charles was a cruel man. What he did to that boy Thomas was unconscionable. The curse was our family's punishment. Next, we spoke with the housekeeper, Mrs. Pemberton, a stout woman with kind eyes who had served the Winthrops for 3 decades. She wrung her hands nervously as she sat before us. I've seen too much death in this house, gentlemen. Sir Robert was like a son to me. I raised him after his mother passed, and now to see Sir Edmund suffering the same fate. If there's murder being done, it's not by mortal hands. Who prepares the meals, Mrs. Pemberton? Holmes asked gently. Cook does, sir. Mrs. Hartley. She's been with us 15 years. More honest woman you'll never meet. And who serves them? Graves, the butler, oversees the dining room. Young Mary, the parlour-maid, assists him. But, sir, everyone eats from the same dishes. How could anyone poison just Sir Edmund? Holmes thanked her and dismissed her. Then he turned to me with a gleam in his eye. Watson, I believe I'm beginning to see the pattern, but I need to confirm something. Come with me. We returned to Sir Edmund's bedroom, where the patient now slept fitfully under Dr. Ashford's watchful eye. Holmes approached the nightstand and examined the medicine bottles once more, this time with even greater scrutiny. Dr. Ashford, this digitalis tincture, when did you first prescribe it? Yesterday evening, after Sir Edmund fell ill. Why do you ask? And the dosage? 20 drops, 3 times daily. Standard cardiac support. Holmes held the bottle up to the light. Did you prepare this yourself? Yes, in my surgery. I always prepare the Winthrop family's medications personally. They're old friends, not merely patients. And where do you keep your medical supplies? In my bag, which remains with me at all times, or in the locked cabinet in my surgery in the village? Holmes' expression grew darker. Doctor, I need you to examine this tincture immediately. Test it for purity. I have reason to believe it may have been tampered with. Dr. Ashford's face went pale. Surely you don't think someone has poisoned my medicine? I think, Doctor, that someone has been very clever indeed, clever enough to make 3 murders look like a family curse. But they made one crucial mistake. Lieutenant James stepped forward from where he had been standing guard over his brother. What mistake, Mr. Holmes? They became greedy. Sir Edmund is dying faster than his predecessors because the killer is using a stronger dose. They want to ensure his death before his birthday to maintain the illusion of the curse. But in doing so, they have revealed their hand. Mrs. Winthrop gasped. Then Edmund can be saved. If my theory is correct, yes, but first we must identify the murderer, and I believe I know exactly how to do that.